talk about your characters and how this whole project came about.
Can you be more specific?
Just in general, your characters and everything.
I met Don Cossarelli in about 1975, and he cast me in a film called Kenny and Company many moons ago. And we had a hell of a fun summer way back when. And a year or so later, I was happy to discover that my agent and my parents had been in secret talks with Don and his peeps about some new project, and that indeed the film had been written for me and I was doing the movie. And that's how I found out about it. And my mom was in the kitchen and said, "Hey, guess what? They're making another movie. You're in it."
The way I found out about it was from my agent, and she told me there's this film it's a low budget. If you can go for it, but I don't want to have anything to do with it, she says. So I decided to go, and I read for Don. I actually read with him, and he asked me to come back for a screen test. But he said this time, because I had gone there with jeans and a t-shirt, he said, "I want you to come in with a dress, preferably a fitted one, and some color." And so I did, because that kind of changed everything around, because after he saw the screen test, he felt that there was this devious sensual quality about me, and he really liked the dress, and that's where he came up with the Lady in Lavender. So I was originally supposed to be killed off, but now he wanted to turn me into a villainess. So
That's what I thought.
yeah.
I thought so.
Oh, really?
Yes. But we like the Lady in Lavender. When it comes to almost 40 years of this trilogy, when you think about it, because it is continued, those Phantasm films are really, fans are really out there when it comes to everything. Can you talk about that? Because they could be difficult, they could be hard, and they really like it to continue on. So I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
With regard to Phantasm fans, they're a passionate bunch. They really are. I don't think I realized how passionate they were until only about maybe a decade ago or less, when we started doing these fan conventions, and people would just be so genuinely, just so warm and so genuinely enthused about the films. And I have met so many just really literally just amazing people for whom these films touched them. They touched them, and something about Phantasm just got people in the heart, and it's not just a gory, fun ride. There's a soul to it that clearly speaks to people. We wouldn't be talking about it all this time later if that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a fan?
Was I a fan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was in the first, so I didn't even know about Phantasm. I didn't know it existed. So I became a fan, yes, indeed. But my character was a mystery to me, and it remains so still. I mean, I definitely understand it. Well, it wasn't until I saw the screening of the first film that I realized that I had something to do with the tall man when they superimposed his face over mine after stabbing Reggie. And that's when the wheels started turning. Well, actually, they really started turning after the screen test also, when Don said that he saw this other side of me. I had no idea I was emoting that. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take it and run. So I am a fan now, but
It's amazing when you talk to a lot of the fans outside the U.S. You wouldn't think there wouldn't be any, but they're all. It's unbelievable outside the U.S. how big this is, and the reason I know these things from dealing with my friends in China and Japan and everything like that, it's amazing. You wouldn't even know, because I remember going to the first screening on the first one. That's how far I go back. So I was like thinking, wow, this is still going on, and you have the millenniums now. So this is why it's always interesting, because you just never know what they're going to like. but they hear the word of mouth on it, so that's always good.
Yes, indeed.
When you met Don the first time, has he pretty much been the same throughout the years?
Well, insofar as you can be for over a lifetime. I mean, he was just a kid. He was 20 or 21 or something like that when I met him. And so we've just been friends ever since then, and friends in the film business and just friends in general the whole time. So it's a long time. So that's the way these relationships are in this little family. We've all known each other for a long time. We've all been making these movies for a long ass time, and we get together and we have a good time doing it. Everybody's very comfortable with each other, and we all have our parts to play and know what to do. So it's very very comfortable.
And that's one of the things I love about Don is he, although yes, he's obviously more mature, but when he gets excited about something, I see that 19-year-old all over again. He just turns into a kid when he's got a great idea or he's just excited to film something. He really turns into a big kid again.
Champion independent films is always, I've always been on that side because it's hard to do these things. It's hard to get the money, and you just really want to put out a good project when it comes to that. When it comes to independent film like this, what's the toughest thing to do when it comes to this? Because you don't always have the money.
Well, the hardest thing is to have to wear multiple hats. So in Oblivion, for example, I produced that film, and starring in the movie and producing the movie at the same time, it's a very challenging task. It's certainly one of the hardest jobs I ever had to do in any business. It's just very, very challenging. And when the dollars are short, people have to do lots of different jobs. That's just the way it is. And so that's probably the most challenging thing. It must be a great luxury to have a multi-million-dollar budget where there's plenty of staff to do all the many jobs that exist in making a film. And in our world, it's just not like that. It's just different, so we understand that guerrilla filmmaking style. We've been doing it for years, so we're pretty good at it. We know how to do it, but it's not easy. It's like going to war, a battle. When things go wrong on an independent film, they go really wrong. There just isn't a cash flow to fix things the way they do in real movies, in big movies. Filmmaking is a cash business, first of all. So you throw cash at stuff and it fixes big problems pretty quickly. So in independent filmmaking, that doesn't really exist in the same way. So you have to think on your feet.
What would you say to get the audience to come out to support this film?
I think they're going to be blown away by not only the imagery, but also the beautiful score, the wonderful job you do as an actor.
Thank you.
Pretty amazing guy over here, and Reggie too. He's really brought it. There were some times in the film where I was like, wow, I'm really feeling for this guy, and when it first came out, he really was playing, the cheese ball, the ice cream guy, but you really saw a lot of dimension now with his character now. What else? There's just, I think that the film is epic now.
It is.
In its entirety.
Well, what I would say is that we make these movies for our fans.
Yes.
That's what they're for. We don't make these movies for people that don't know anything about Phantasm. If we did, we would put a whole 3 minutes into the beginning of the movie explaining what the hell you're about to see and who are these people and why should you care and what's the backstory. And, like every other sequel, you got to catch people up. We don't even try to do that. we don't even give a shit if people, because we know who these movies are made for. These movies are made for people that already are well into Phantasm. So what would I say to people about, to make them come out to see? I say, come out to see the movie we made for you.
Yeah.
We made this movie for you. And so, honor Angus and, buy a ticket if there's one available, or, pay your money on VOD, or do whatever is required, or, whatever. Because this movie is made for the fans, and that is truly the reason that we would put this much work into it. That's the honest answer.
And they're gonna get more than they expect.